today's news, Akeem Durrant charged with the murder of Corey Butler and Creque awarded valedictorian as 137 graduate from the Elmer Stout High School. And Premier Wheatley provides Business Licensing Act update and should a person who migrates for work qualify for citizenship, questions Cline. And we also see on the regional scene NDC winning the Grenada's general elections 2022. But viewers, these are more stories when 284 News returns.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Friday, June 24th, 2022. I'm Kamal Haynes, coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. Well, we start today's newscast with an update from last Tuesday's shooting murder. Bellevue resident Akeem Durrant has been charged with the murder of Corey Butler. Well, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force gave the confirmation in the media release on Friday, which revealed that Durrant has also been slapped with further drug and robbery charges. Well, the police said, and I quote, "In addition to murder, Durrant was also charged with a robbery and possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply," end quote. But the 35-year-old Durrant is expected to appear before the magistrate's court at the next available sitting. Well, Corey Butler was wounded in the Scatliff Alley area around 6:30 p.m. Tuesday evening. He was pronounced dead shortly after his arrival at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital. Well, moving on, viewers, where some 137 students graduated from the Elmer Stout High School on Thursday, with 4 receiving high honors and 75 meeting the criteria to receive honors. Well, the top 10 students receiving honors included 6 females and 4 males. Well, Christina Creque received the valedictorian honor, while Kalia Charles was a salutatorian. Well, the other top 10 honorees included Akia Herbert, Azim Nibs, Dave Persad, Deandra Roberts, Decoy Susanna, Hala Salwood, Chakaya Smith, and Janisha Jones. Well, speaking during the ceremony, Premier and Minister of Finance Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley congratulated the students on achieving the milestone. He encouraged the graduates in their continued journey of seeking education to consider the H. Laverty Stout Community College in their deliberations.
Some of you will move on to college and further education. I must say to you that I am a former lecturer at the H. Laverty Stout Community College and a strong advocate for students enrolling there, whether to pursue an associate's degree, get certified like our solar technicians and marine professionals, or some other of their ever-improving programs. This training will help you down the road to provide maximum value to your place of employment or business venture. Some of you will enter the world of work. Some will start your own businesses and help us to continue growing the Virgin Islands economy. The Virgin Islands is your home, and it is yours for the future.
Well, Dr. Wheatley, who was also a former educator, further encouraged the graduating class of 2022 who are seeking to join the workforce to consider working in the public sector. He said his government is in the process of transforming the public sector to make it more attractive for locals.
After you have qualified yourselves, an area you should consider is public service. This is a transformative time for the public service. We have the digital transformation and modernization of the public service currently taking place. You would know as well that we have a program of major reforms that has started and which will be continuing over the next 2 years or so. The reforms will create a lot of opportunities for our people in public administration, especially in policy development. While we are doing these reforms, and even further into the future, the public service will need qualified persons with new creative ideas and new and modern competencies so that we can remain competitive, efficient, and effective, and so that we continue to evolve as the world changes and new technologies come about. Pay attention to these developments and those that will come after.
Well, meanwhile, the principal of the high school, Mrs. Vanessa Garraway, also had some encouraging words for those students who did not make the graduation criteria. She said those students should continue to strive and should not give up on their respective goals.
Today, there are some students who should have been celebrating with us, but for whatever reason, they have stumbled, and to them they feel like they have hit rock bottom. The key is to not stay there. Let us all be encouraged that when we find ourselves in these situations, that we use them as learning experiences and to go at it again until we are able to achieve our goal. Author Tully once said, persistence and resilience only come from having been given the chance to work through difficult times.
Well, valedictorian Christina Creque, in delivering her speech themed "We Are Anointed," spoke about the trials and tribulations that she and her classmates had to overcome.
We as a class faced many trials and tribulations, yet we are still here, proudly dressed in our caps and gowns, because we are anointed. We may not understand what God sees in us, but we are still being guided, and with the right mentality and support, we will fulfill the promise we were made to fulfill. 7th grade was the only normal school year we had, and we got introduced to a bigger environment with more people and a hopeful outlook on what is to come. 8th grade, we had to deal with the aftermath of 2 devastating hurricanes and having to go to school at CTL High. We had to adjust to the shift system and new environment, but we were able to persevere because, again, we are anointed. 9th grade progressed as a somewhat normal year as we fully adapted to the new environment and circumstances. In 10th grade, when we thought we would finally get a break, the COVID-19 pandemic came along. Online learning was a challenge at first, but after a while, most of us got used to the learning platforms, and some of us managed to stay awake for entire class sessions. 11th and 12th grade, we were able to get used to this new normal and finally have face-to-face class session. I missed annoying y'all. While the effects of the pandemic have not disappeared and the obstacles we faced have yet to cease, we are still standing strong because we are anointed. Say it with me, class. We are? We are? All right.
Well, viewers, up next, Premier Wheatley provides Business Licensing Act update. And should a person who migrates to work qualify for citizenship? Questions Claude Skelton Cline. But these are more stories when 284 News return.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch again? You don't say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And? District 3 residents outraged over no water
reply, they simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey, I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier of the Virgin Islands, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, alongside with Ms. Lizette George, today provided an update to the public on the Business Licensing Act, where Premier Wheatley also provided an update on other matters. Well, he began by addressing the state of tourism and various recent events with stakeholders.
In terms of advancing our tourism sector, on the 11th of June, I traveled to San Juan, Puerto Rico, with BVI Tourist Board Director, Mr. Clive McCoy, and other tourism officials to engage with market participants there and promote the BVI as a destination. The interaction was warm and friendly, and we look forward to Puerto Ricans coming to the BVI for Christmas in July. I then traveled to New York, where I had the opportunity to have productive meetings with our New York Tourist Board office, where I discussed plans to market and promote the BVI in the North American market. We have an excellent office, and the entire BVI Tourist Board will have my full support to execute their campaigns. In addition, I'm very pleased to report that on the 17th of June, in my capacity as Tourism Minister, along with the Junior Tourism Minister, I convened a very productive initial tourism stakeholder consultation with representatives of the various subsectors of the tourism industry. In the spirit of partnership between the industry and government and a much needed reset in our relationship, I co-chaired the meeting with Mr. Andreas Pade of Rosewood Little Dix Bay. The discussions were frank and honest, but aimed at the improvement of tourism, and the tourism industry has agreed to have The discussions were frank and honest, but aimed at the improvement of tourism and making the tourism season ahead a success. The government and tourism industry have agreed to have specific subsectors, technical discussions on key issues, and further stakeholder meetings in the very near future.
While speaking on international affairs, Premier Wheatley had this to say.
In terms of international affairs, on the 13th of June, I addressed the Committee of 24 at their annual June session, which I'm obliged to do under UN procedures for those overseas territories on the UN list of territories. I updated on the current situation in the territory in which the Government of National Unity is implementing reforms under continued democratic governance. I had the pleasure of also meeting the UK Deputy Permanent Representative to the UN, Ambassador James Kariuki. Our meeting was very positive. Next month, I will travel to Suriname for the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting to discuss issues affecting the Caribbean. Today, I would like to speak a little bit about the Business Licensing Act 2022, which was passed in the House of Assembly last week.
Well, the Business Licensing Act 2022, which was passed in the House of Assembly last week, will allow for a number of changes for all stakeholders. While Premier Wheatley also addressed some underlying problems, particularly regarding with legislation.
One of the underlying problems is that the current legislation, the Business Professions and Trade Licenses Act, Cap 200, 1989, is about 33 years old. The categories in that act and the design of the act itself were appropriate for that time. But a lot has changed in the world since then. There are new technologies, there are new types of jobs and businesses, there are new ways of performing services. And therefore, one of the things that was happening is that there was difficulty in fitting some of the modern businesses and business models into the existing framework and existing labels. The only way to fix this issue is to overhaul the legislation, inclusive of the business classifications, to make it more aligned with the modern needs. Around January 2017, the then government started a project to review the systems that were in place for regulating business in the Virgin Islands with a view to reform. A trade policy review committee was established in 2017, and that committee produced a number of reports to inform on what were the areas that needed reform and what these reforms should entail. The documents produced for the consideration of Cabinet included the National Trade Policy of the Virgin Islands, an investment policy statement, a national investment strategy, an investment incentives policy, an encouragement of new industries policy, and a residency for direct investors policy, among others.
Well, moving on, viewers, should those who migrate to another country to work be qualified for citizenship in that country? Is a question being asked by social commentator Claude Skelton Cline. Well, Cline posed the question during a recent airing of his Honestly Speaking radio program, where he called on the relevant authorities to find a solution to the existing immigration crisis in the territory.
We are an expat nation in the sense that we import persons to work in the hospitality industry, persons who work in financial services industry. That's part of the composition and the complexion of these Virgin Islands. And their people, as we in yesteryears went to other countries to make a better living, persons come here to work. Now the question becomes, does coming to a place to work therefore then qualifies you to become a citizen? These are questions, my brothers and sisters, that I'm inviting you for us to grapple with, for us to think, for us to put our heads and our hands around in resolving once and for all, well, maybe not for all, but at least for an elongated period of time, this whole matter.
Well, Cline said there are those expats who have been in the territory for decades that have contributed meaningfully to the BVI's economy and are deserving of citizenship. However, he said a solid policy relating to this issuing of belongership status must be in place, or the territory will be made to suffer the consequences within the next few decades if left unaddressed.
The so-called United States of America, the fight between the white population and oftentimes the people of color, particularly those who cross the border from Mexico, those who go to pursue living. We see what happens there on the matter of along racial line. We see what happens there along the lines of ethnicity. We see what happened the other day in the UK as some of the persons who are being displaced, a proposal to relocate them to Rwanda. So listen, let's not shy away from some of the realities that we must confront relative to the matter of immigration.
Well, viewers, up next, the NDC party wins Grenada's general election 2022. And in international news, U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v Wade, where women will lose the constitutional right to have abortions. Well, we get to those two stories after a word from our sponsors.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Well, 44-year-old attorney at law Dickon Mitchell is the new Prime Minister of Grenada, Curacao, and Petite Martinique. Well, Mitchell led his National Democratic Congress to a 9-6 victory over incumbent Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell and his new National Party in general elections held on the island on Thursday. Well, it was a historic victory for Dickon Mitchell, who was running in his first general election after taking over the leadership of the party 8 months ago. Well, NDC had suffered back-to-back 15-0 defeats at the polls in 2013 and 2018 at the hands of Dr. Mitchell. Well, no information is available on whether PM Mitchell has conceded defeat at the polls and contacted Dickon Mitchell to congratulate him on the victory of Congress in the general election. However, General Secretary of the NNP, Roland Bowler, has conceded defeat and has congratulated Dickon Mitchell on that victory. Well, viewers, moving on to the international scene, where in the United States, females will no longer have a federal constitutional right to an abortion after the Supreme Court overturned the ruling in the case Roe v Wade this morning. Well, for those who may want to know what is Roe v Wade, well, it is a landmark decision of U.S. Supreme Court in which the court ruled nearly 5 decades ago that the Constitution of the United States generally protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion. Well, according to the international news site CNN, the ruling has been deemed, and I quote, the most consequential Supreme Court decision in decades, end quote, and will likely transform the landscape of women's reproduction health in the United States. But this ultimately means that unless the U.S. Congress seeks to challenge the decision, abortion rights will be determined by states going forward. By writing in his majority opinion, Justice Samuel Alito said, and I quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division, end quote. But the vote was 5-3-1. Well, speaking on the historic event was President of the United States, Joe Biden, who said the health and life of women in the United States are now at risk.
Today, the Supreme Court of the United States expressly took away a constitutional right from the American people that it had already recognized. They didn't limit it, they simply took it away. That's never been done to a right so important to so many Americans, but they did it. It's a sad day for the court and for the country. 50 years ago, Roe v. Wade was decided and has been the law of the land since then. This landmark case protected a woman's right to choose, her right to make intensely personal decisions with her doctor, free from the interference of politics. It reaffirmed basic principles of equality, that women have the power to control their own destiny, and it reinforced a fundamental right of privacy, a right of each of us to choose how to live our lives. Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
Well, viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye-bye.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Yo, everything good, Dad? Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy. What you mean? Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?